Razorback Nation, welcome to episode 40 of Hogs on the Hill, your go-to podcast for an in-depth dive into all things Arkansas Razorbacks. Join us as we dissect the victories, analyze the plays, and revel in the spirit of the Hogs. And as always, episode 40 is brought to you by Homefield. Step into the legacy of collegiate style with Homefield's premium vintage apparel. You can embrace the spirit of your alma mater or just your favorite team with their meticulously crafted, comfortable, and stylish collections. Elevate your game day attire and celebrate the rich history of college sports. Homefield, where tradition meets modern comfort in every stitch. You can use promo code Variety Sports in all caps to receive 15% off that first order. Go check them out today. They got all the fantastic Razorback gear that you could need, especially a lot of fantastic Razorback baseball items and gear over there since baseball season is getting ramped up now. But, man, what a game in Bud last night. It's always a fun day when you can wake up, horns down, and sweep your rival.
Yeah, first time Arkansas sweep them since 1990. Yeah, 1990. So second to last season they were in the Southwestern Conference. So, yeah, big deal. It was, and they did it with a completely. It was a group effort, right? Again, second straight game. I think it's just two. All five starters in double digits. Different starters, as we'll probably go into in a minute. But this team is an enigma, right? You don't know why, but each time they lose a player, they end up playing better. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, yeah, and Trevin Brazil obviously stepped up. Adu stepped up and hit those free throws at the end. Yeah, it was a great feeling all the way around. And it's the first time all season that my heart's been about to jump out of my chest. So, and you could feel it, at least through the TV screen. You were actually at the game. You could feel the energy in Bud Walton was just different. So, yeah, this felt like a normal game that we've been used to in the last 4 years. So, yeah, I'm extremely excited about what happened last night.
Yeah, I mean, being there, it wasn't entirely packed out, but, man, it was a crazy, loud environment. And, yeah, like you were talking about, just being there and right there towards the end, at times feeling like, the air was being sucked out of the building with all the, momentum Texas had gained right there towards the end. But, I mean, like you said, Arkansas just keeps continuing to find a way. And, I mean, what a masterclass coaching job that was by Cal, especially being down. You lose Thiero after Missouri. You have a couple days to come in and, figure out a new game plan for what are you going to do without him. He's one of your best players, your top scorer. And then, you got a game plan to not have him. You've got a shorter rotation, seven guys. And, this team comes out and plays hard and limits the fouls, especially in that first half. Guys are rotating left and right. But, man, what a wonderful performance. And, like Transplant Texan, shout out to him for, being a consistent joining us tonight. Horns down and Woo Pig. Agree 100%. That's one of the best things to say. But, yeah, I mean, I think the shocker in this one was you even mentioned it before we got fired up here is, man, what a game by Trevin Brazil. Man, it was his time. He was called upon, and he comes out and hits through 2 threes to open the game, and that kind of just sets the tone. Austin, you muted.
Thank you. I had to move my light real quick, and I didn't want to make a whole bunch of noise, and I forgot to unmute. Anyway, yeah, so Trevin Brazil, all season long, he has just had trouble being efficient, right? I broke down, I think I talked about it last time, that he's the third leading scorer if you do points per 40 minutes of play, right? Not just points per game, but points per 40 minutes. He just also had the biggest minus with a plus and minus. So it was just he couldn't ever get in the groove. And I and I gotta apologize to Trevor Brazile because I shouldn't have doubted, right? All year I hadn't really said anything about it, and I've been trying to, not get my hopes up for it. And then last episode, I'm like, you know what? They just need to sit him. There's no reason why he should play because he's just been nothing but bad news for the Hogs. And then all of a sudden, he's starting. You're like, all right, what the heck's going to happen here? How are we going to even do this without Thiero? And he just came out, lights out. He's still, there were some times where he was fighting his own guy for rebounds. And I think whenever he goes up for the ball, our guys just got to get out of the way because we know he's a good rebounder from the past 2 years. He's at least he hasn't really been super aggressive in the paint this season, but yesterday it showed that he can still do that. He still knows how to play ball, like you said. He just all of a sudden remembered. So I gotta apologize, Trevor Brazile. Sorry, shouldn't have gave up on you. You proved me wrong almost instantly, and it is completely my fault.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's crazy to see what kind of game he had after, he played 40 minutes last night, and that's counting the overtime period. But, he probably hadn't played 40 minutes of basketball the previous 2 to 3 weeks of the season. And then he just comes out here and balls out, 12 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from deep. Unfortunately, missed his only free throw, had 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And like you said, had the, highest plus minus on the team at 13. But, like you said, you look at up and down this roster, which, I mean, it's a short one right now, especially with no Thiero as well. But your entire starting lineup, like you said, scored in double digits. You had Big Z leading you on all scoring with 18, 5 of 11, hits 3 of 6 from deep, 5 of 8 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal for Big Z. I mean, everybody had a great game. You even got, a nice little, support from Jonas Adu scoring 8 points, and 2 of those points being some key free throws right there at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. 3 of 5, 2 of 2 from the line, get you 4 rebounds, 2 assists for Jonas Adu, the big man. And he also has a block and a steal as well. So actually 2 steals for Jonas. So, it seems like he's kind of starting to find his stride as well. You can tell he looks much healthier. He's jumping a lot more. He's fighting for rebounds. He seems more active on the court, and kind of instead of just sliding around, whatever it may be. But I mean, if he's gonna start getting healthy and playing decent basketball and giving you good minutes, now's the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've said it before, pressure makes diamonds, and they're turning into a diamond right before our eyes. I mean, seven people. That's all. The thing is, we're like, oh, look, the starters all have double digits. With who they have right now, that you have to have double digits with all your starters to win. Unless you have a Trey Johnson who can score you 40 points, everyone's going to have to get double digits. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Holy crap. Trey Johnson, I don't think he's human. There's no way. But we'll get onto that in a second. The thing is, like, Billy Richmond, 6 points. That's it. 3 rebounds, but he had 3 assists too. He is really coming into that point guard position. And I really like it. I mean, he's still making some dumb mistakes. He's a freshman and didn't really, come here to play point guard. But he is stepping up when it matters, and he's doing things that the team needs him to do. And he's still bringing that energy. 3 of 7, I will take 3 of 7 from him all day long. All day long.
Yeah. Now, plenty of shots that he missed right there around the rim where he just didn't finish, and that'll come with as he, continues to improve. But man, he could have been, easily 4 or 5 of 7, and you're looking at Billy probably having 10, 12, 14 points.
Yeah, and only 1 turnover.
Yeah.
One turnover for Billy. Actually, the only person that had more than 2 were DJ Wagner with 5 and Visic with 3. So, I mean, they took care of the ball. They hit their free throw shots. They hit the 3-point shots whenever they were wide open. And they just played good ball. Now, the second half, that's kind of a strange one for me. They couldn't really get anything going. They didn't do a lot of 3-point shooting in the second half either. Only 5 shots, 2 for 5, and it was only Wagner and Visic. So they didn't really shoot a whole lot. So it was a little weird in that, but you got to think they also didn't get hardly a single call in the second half, as much as Arkansas got in the first. Yeah.
It was almost a mirror image of the game down in Austin in the Moody Center. I mean, identical. Yeah. Like you look at it and, same situation there. Arkansas didn't get many calls in the first half, but you turn around that second half, Texas had, was in the bonus before you knew it. And then Arkansas still had,
Arkansas didn't get the double bonus until there was like 40 seconds left in overtime.
And into overtime, yeah. So, interesting point there. But, I mean, you also got to talk about Rodney Terry getting the tech in the first half as well.
Yeah, the Chicken Man was angry. And, like, I don't know why. Like, I know he's an eccentric person, but, like, there was no reason for it at that point. But the problem is, whenever you do that, maybe these refs are second guessing themselves and they look, hey, we really did call a lot for Texas. We really need to focus on Arkansas now. That just sounds like a stupid way to ref to me. It's like, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's right. And I'm not saying that's the way it is, but it happens enough that it's starting to be fishy, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of these are like anticipating fouls. Like that's how you'll have one ref that's over near half court call something in the paint, even though there's 4 guys in front of him, because he's anticipating a foul. And I'm like, it just doesn't sit well with me. If I'm a guy who like, okay, so in baseball, I say there's 3 kinds of umps at the plate. There's the people who call strikes, or there's people who call strikes as they see them, the people who call strikes, and then there's the people who say it isn't a strike until they call a strike. So there's different ways to look at it from an officiating stance, and I'm the one who's like, call a strike, call a ball. Call a foul, and if it's not a foul, don't call it.
Right.
Don't anticipate. Don't think about anything else. Yeah. Don't just, don't think about it. Just watch the game, call it as it is. And it just feels like whenever they overdo it on one side, they second guess themselves and they try to correct themselves in the other half. And it happens all the time. And it's not just Arkansas. It's across the SEC. And I don't watch enough outside the SEC to really get a feel for that, but I've seen it in the tournament too. So, and I don't know if those are SEC refs or not, but it's a problem, and I don't know why Arkansas always ends up on the back half of that. It always seems like Arkansas gets the raw deal in the second half, not in the first half.
Right. Let's quickly jump over to the chat. Transplant Texan says, Cal coach, team played, Hogs win. Exactly. Pigpen, 100% the truth. They made it harder than it had to be. It never fails. We had that lead. Texas kept coming back. We kept pushing it out a little bit. And then, finally, we'll get to it in a minute, like Austin said. Then it just became the Trey Johnson show. But, yeah, Brazil rose to the occasion here. Love to see what he did. Cal did a great job managing the bench. The team stayed out of foul trouble, even Billy Richmond, and they were creative and effective with their different combinations on the floor. I like this one here. Transplant Texan says, Brazil posterized the Longhorns and Carter Knox at the same time. 100%.
Friendly fire right there, man.
Exactly. Angel says, what a battle. I'm just saying, says, yep, Trey Johnson is the truth. 5 starters and 2 on the bench. Everyone has to contribute, and they did. The Hogs to win. Exactly. And then I'm just saying, says Hogs got relaxed or tired. They were very much gassed down the end of their stretch in regulation, and that let them sneak back. And I think that probably had a little bit to do with it because, these guys, you take a man out of the rotation, that's, 10 to 12 minutes that you're having to, spread throughout these other guys. And, they were very much gassed right there at the end of regulation. And that was a flat out, they gutted it out, willed this team to the win. But Transplant Texans, on the officials' point, was saying officials called most of the fouls on one end of the court. Foul count was lopsided each had. Favored Hogs in the first, favored Texas in the second, exactly like we were talking about. Just a mirror image of the game down in Austin. So, yeah, I mean, it is weird sometimes that, when I would prefer, the fouls to go Arkansas's way in the second half, not the first, and then vice versa. But, I'm just saying, says this is something to consider. Is South Carolina a potential trap game?
I think potentially, but I feel a lot better that they got their SEC win against Texas.
Exactly. That's what I said.
If we were going into this game without or with South Carolina not having to win, I wouldn't feel comfortable. But I really do feel comfortable about this game because South Carolina is by far the worst team in the league. Now we got to go to Columbia to do this, but if they play, a B game against South Carolina, they should at least have a chance to win at the end. An A game, I feel like Arkansas is going to, probably clean the floor with them. And I say clean the floor with them, I mean probably win by 5-6 points. Now let's be honest. I say they're the worst team in the conference. That doesn't mean anything. I feel like if South Carolina was in the ACC, they probably an NCAA team, because the ACC just isn't good, and they've already beat Clemson, and Clemson's beat Duke and Kentucky. So basketball is a weird game, but South Carolina is not a bad team. They're just bad compared to the rest of the SEC.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's like you said, and I've heard numerous people say the exact same thing, that if, South Carolina was not in the SEC, then, they probably are in, and have a decent record after that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I'm just saying, says starting Brazil was a brilliant coaching move by Coach Cal. He knows how to motivate these guys, and maybe giving him a starting opportunity kind of awoken some fire in him. But yeah, as Angel says, the 6 or 7 minute rotation, you're going to have some drop, and that's going to happen, and it's going to be tough. And hopefully we get more news on Thiero within the next coming days. I'm going to go ahead and plan. We're not going to have him Saturday. That's just my gut feeling. He went out to LA for a second opinion on what I think they're calling a hyperextended knee. We'll see what happens. I've heard different things regarding that. We're never really going to know what's going on with that. Joe says, fellas, checking in, been in bed 36 hours with the COVID. Dang. Hate to hear that, man. Hope you get to feeling better soon.
Hobbs is also out with, he
I was
doesn't
about
have COVID,
to say, you can tell we're missing
out.
Hobbs with us. He's out with the flu. Joe's over here with the COVID, man.
Yeah, I don't feel good either, but I'm here, and I'm fighting. Well, the thing is about this game, loved watching it, loved the outcome, but dadgum, man, I'm tired of these 8 o'clock games.
Okay, that was the last
tired. One. Yeah, and I didn't go to sleep until about 1:30 because you have the writing, and I kind of stay up to see whether or not we get some stuff in to post. And so Pat, I'm just saying, he's one of my writers, if you didn't know. Really talented guy. If you guys haven't looked, I'm gonna shamelessly plug something. or if you haven't seen it, go to our page and look up we have a feature with Greg Thomas, which is the first black quarterback for the U of A for Black History Month. He's done a great job on it. Go take that and read it. But I just, man, staying up that late every single Thursday or every single Wednesday, it's getting old. And I am here on fumes. So bear with me. If I say something stupid, I'm just going to blame it on that.
Well,
I'm going to say that's what it was on Sunday too. Whenever I say they just needed to sit Brazil, I was just really tired, and yeah, so I'm going to blame it on that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're glad you're making it through and powering through here, but yeah, South Carolina did thump Texas, and that is again, I feel like that takes a lot of pressure off this team to be like, oh crap, we can't be this team's only SEC win, where it looked like for a good long while that was going to be the case with LSU, but LSU found some things and got some wins. So, we don't have to have that. But, looking at it after the win last night, that win across different brackets and metrics, and Joe Lenardi even had us moved up into the last 4 byes officially in the tournament, and not in the last 4 in playing games. But you still got 3 more games left to play, and you need to either win them or make them close. The one that I said it on Sunday, the one that worries me the most is that Vanderbilt game, because they went on the road and beat Texas A&M last night. You've got Mississippi State that, they lost to Oklahoma on Saturday. We get them in Bud, and then South Carolina, you just don't look past them, but come and play your game. And I take care of business. You go 2-1 in this final stretch. I'm feeling pretty good about Selection Sunday.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had a point on the top of my head and I lost it. But the whole there's a lot of people out there that make the joke, and let's be honest, most of them are Kentucky fans, that Arkansas, is going to NIT. Okay, so this was my thought. Arkansas, remember, let's go back. 0-5 starting SEC play. You told me they had a chance to go 500 in SEC and still win 20 games this season. I would have told you you're crazy. This team doesn't look like it meshes well at all. I was almost of the same mind as those coaches and was it John Goodman? No, it's not John Goodman. The guy that writes for the Field of 68. I was on the mind with those refs or those coaches saying that the team just didn't fit. They had people that didn't mesh, and then Boogie Flane goes down, and all of a sudden things just start lining up. And now Arkansas has a chance to be 500 in the SEC and win 20 games in Cal's first season and make the tournament. And the thing is, you don't, if you were a 1 seed and Arkansas ends up being like a 12 seed or 11 seed, tell me a 1 seed or a 2 seed that wants to see Arkansas.
None.
Yeah, because you know who's going to be a 1 seed? Auburn. Do you remember how they fared, at the Jungle with Arkansas? Yeah, they won by like 8 points, but it wasn't like that, until the desperation fouls. Arkansas was right there nipping at their heels.
A bad game.
Yeah, and 0 for 10 for Big Z. If he hits 1-3, and then Trevor Brazil doesn't score for Auburn, we'll win that game. So this isn't a team that these teams want to see Arkansas in the tournament, right? And if Arkansas can take care of business, win two games, or I feel like if they can beat what's their name? Mississippi State, or not Mississippi State, Vanderbilt at home, they could probably just win 1 game and be fine. But if they win 2 at least, they're in this tournament. And it's a completely just awesome job by Coach Calipari. With what he has, he's done a great job.
100%. I agree. He told everybody to be patient, and we were like, well, how long are we going to have to be patient? Like you said, when you're 0-5, you're like, well, we've been patient, but even though it didn't seem like that team was clicking, and like you said, weirdly enough, it took some guys getting hurt for this team to start clicking and finding itself, and just weird all around. But yeah, what these guys are saying here, Transplant Texans said 24-25 has been the season for Vandy sports programs. Successful football season. Basketball is doing really well. Baseball is getting started. We'll see what is held in store for Vandy, but they're a historically good baseball program. But yeah, Angel says
this feels like they're 2021 for how Arkansas had a great season in 2021, 2022. This feels like that for them.
Yeah, exactly. Angel says here, Cal pulled up the pant legs in front of the ref in the Mizzy game. Yeah, exactly right here. You got Cal just hiking up those pants legs, getting at the ref here. So, but yeah, coach has got to work the ref. Angel says Aubie's tough. That they are. They were a tough team to play. It's crazy to see how Arkansas played them, and then they go out and blow out Ole Miss by 30 points. It's crazy. And I think that just shows you what type of games Arkansas makes these games. They draw out these games. They play really tough defense. Like their adjusted defensive efficiency is, tops right now. Transplant Texas says Cal was definitely not quite voicing his opinions about fouls. Refs did better in overtime, but I agree with this here too. Cal has done more with less, quite literally.
Hey, the thing is, he has probably one of the on paper one of the best rosters in the country. If you have completely all 9 guys, it's just it took a long time for him to melt together, and he wasn't used to doing that. He had guys that stayed over like 1 or 2, and then he had his guys from high school, and then he would pick like 1 or 2 really talented transfers like Oscar Shibwe or can't remember his name, 3-point shooter. Either way, no.
Are you talking about
last year? Kentucky.
Reed Shepherd?
Either way, Reed Shepherd. Yeah. So he hadn't had to build a roster from the start like this. Now I've also made the argument that those are all his guys, right? But just for whatever reason, he went with 9 guys, and that wasn't enough. And he knows it was a mistake. We all know it was a mistake. But the thing is, even with that mistake, he has a chance to put Arkansas in a really, really good position. And that's all you can ask, right? Like, yeah, it's not a good season, but how do you respond? That's what, anybody who's played sports, they've been coached, hey, you're going to face adversity, and it might be really, really crushing, but what matters is how you respond. And they responded excellently. Like, they are going out here playing with 7 dudes and kicking butt. And that's all you can ask, right? That's all you can ask whenever they were put in a position like this. And to see them not quit is awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Steve-O joining us says, Tremont Marks should have stayed at Arkansas. He doesn't fit at Texas.
Well, he's not bad. He's just bad against Arkansas. He's like their 3rd leading scorer, or he was. I haven't checked in a while. Let me pull them up real quick. But he wasn't doing bad with Texas. Mark, he is points. Well, they have the whole points for game. They don't have average. Let me see. But the thing is, I kind of got that feeling from him too. Like he was there, and he wasn't playing good, and I feel like he almost looked like he regretted moving. But the thing is, he had nothing but good things to say about Arkansas, and I think he probably, in his heart misses it just a little bit. Here's the other thing. How did you feel about them booing him when he had the ball?
I was interested to see who the boo guy would be. And I
He's
mean,
the fourth leading scorer with 9.3.
it just feels like that maybe Mark was just the easy guy to pick. It was like, oh, he was at Arkansas. He transferred. I mean, and it's not like he came out and just said some bad stuff about Arkansas. Like you said, nothing good to say. So
Yeah.
I'm mixed on it. It's like I don't necessarily think that he should have been the boo guy. I think it was an easy option for when you're naming the boo guy. But it's like Cal said in one of his interviews. At the end of the day, he's still on the opposing team, so you're going to boo them.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And here's the thing. I'm going to keep the same energy that I had with Cal and then going back to Kentucky. Of course, you boo them. It doesn't mean you don't like them.
exactly.
Okay. You know how many people I knew that I played against that I loved dearly, but I talked so much crap to him during the game because it's different during the game. It's a competition. And guess what? I'm not saying the booing worked, but he only scored 2 points this game.
And
he
didn't
played
score at
really,
all
really bad.
First matchup.
Yeah, he didn't score at all the first matchup. But the thing is, like, he came in here and it obviously something was affecting him. I don't know if he's just not really good at playing against our defense or what, but it worked. And the thing is, I don't think there was anybody in that building that didn't like Tremont Mark, right?
Fair enough.
We gotta stop conflating the in-game emotions versus off-court emotions, right? Because look, I would have booed the crap out of him if I were in there. But if I saw him walking to the tunnel, I would have said, "Hey man, I miss you. I loved what you did at Arkansas. I hope you have a great career." That's the way it is. There, you can talk the talk during the game, but have sportsmanship after.
Exactly. It's like what Transplant Texas is here. If he'd been trashing Arkansas, then the booing would have been justified. But his departure took place because there was no coach. He didn't stay because you don't know who the next coach is going to be, and your opportunity to transfer is, a limited window, especially because you want to enter the portal and get somewhere so they don't pursue anywhere else. And, he's a Texas guy. He came from Houston, so very familiar with the area. And so, I mean, he went back to a place that's very familiar.
Here's the thing. They hadn't done it a lot this year, but there is a boo guy every game. And it's not like he didn't know that. You don't think he was expecting to get booed when he came into Fayetteville? Like,
yeah, I mean, that had to be.
It had to be. And he's probably like, yeah, it's probably what's going to happen. And you're probably prepared for it. Just because you boo somebody doesn't mean you don't like them. Okay. They're on the other team. That's the way it is. So yeah. I don't know. I think people are being a little too what's it called? Not obsessed. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Here you go, Austin. Thiero said he'd trade Mark for Brazil right now. What do you think?
I mean, did we watch the same game that I saw yesterday?
Well, and I mean, if you look at it as far as fit, like,
it's fit.
Like, with him being an experienced guy.
You know what? I mean, yeah. And he's better on defense than Brazil is. I'll give you that.
The problem with me I think he wouldn't fit back at Arkansas and Cal's system is it's like a lot of people said. It seems like whenever he gets the ball, he turns into a black hole. It goes into him and he does whatever he wants with it and puts up shot. We saw him. That was his kind of mindset at Arkansas under Muss was he wasn't necessarily the guard, but whenever the ball get brought up the court, you threw it to Mark. Don't worry about anybody else touching it, really, because he was either going to try to drive, make a jump shot, drive to the lane, like whatever it was. So I don't know if he'd necessarily be a fit for this system now either.
Yeah. The thing is, they really needed somebody, and this is the thing. Before yesterday, I would have probably been right there with Steve-O. They need somebody to play like kind of like a Thiero. And I feel like he probably could have done that if he were to stay here. at least maybe jump into that role as a 3. But 3 or 4, he would be a small one. But at the same time, that's kind of what we needed. But Brazil stepped up, so I'm happy for that. They play differently. They're still different players. There's really no one who drives with like intensity, like Thiero does, except for maybe Billy Richmond. But he's playing point pretty much, not exclusively, but he's playing a guard most of the time. So it's a little weird not seeing someone crash through the board like that. Speaking of crashing boards, did you see that tweet? I don't remember.
That showed the scouting report, if you will, from Texas that had everybody's crashers.
Everybody's crashers. Why put that? Why waste the ink? Just do it. Hey, every single one of these guys are going to crash the board. Firstly, that is not correct because DJ Wagner does not crash the board. I would not consider him a crasher, right? Like what? I don't know what they're doing in their scouting report, but it was a little weird to me. But that was a funny thing from last night's game.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing from Transplant Texas. I haven't seen this, but if this is the case, I will take it. Seeing chatter that Tyson is giving Cal a Brink check for talent next season. Hey, I'll take it. Because you got to look at, you've got Darius Acuff coming in. You got Malik Thomas. You got to keep Carter. You got to keep Billy. You got to keep Big Z.
I don't know if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
He's had one bad game in the last 5, and he's hit nearly 20 points every game. I hope they do. I hope the scouts are going to tell him that, but man, he's playing too good. He needs to step back just a little bit so he can stay one more year.
Right.
It's like a catch-22, but
and then you got the Nate Amet kid that he released the top 5, a day or two ago, and Arkansas was in that top 5 for him as well. And interesting, I was talking to one of my buddies, and I not sure how reliable the sources are, but he was telling me that he's hearing some potential rumblings of if Big Z does come back. What we talked about and we tempted you earlier in the season was his brother might transfer in.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
Have another set of twins. Like,
have they ever played together? I don't think.
Unless they played overseas, then I don't know.
Yeah, like in a really like a competitive situation, not just like high school or because I know he played overseas professionally
and I think that was the big reason that they had a hard time kind of clearing his eligibility is because he played quote unquote professionally. But Tomislav, his brother, is much more of a true 5 big than what Big Z is. Big Z is a stretch guy, like we've called him. I mean, that's just how he is. He has a little bit, being twins, he still has a little bit different body type and build than what Big Z does. And he's going one of those guys that's going to bang down and get in the post and, cause some havoc down there. Transplant Texan would love to have Big T join Big Z.
Yeah, man, I can just see like Big Z throwing an alley-oop to Tomislav and then doing some kind of drive kick out action to Big Z for a 3. Like, oh man, you just that's doing it for me.
Yeah. Transplant Texan said in twins, one will always be more stocky than the other.
My twins.
I was about to say you're a perfect.
Well, they're not fraternal. They're fraternal, just like Tomislav and Avisichar. So Theo, he's like 2 inch, an inch or 2 inches taller than Miles already, and they're 4 years old. They're both pretty little as it is compared to their sister. Their sister's she's a giant for a 5-year-old, but I see that. I know what you're talking about, Transplant.
Yeah, and then Angel says ZZ Top for those guys. Good nickname there. But and then Steve-O says both of them can shoot the three, though, and that is true. I was going to pull it up and look.
Yeah.
If you look at Tomislav, on the season so far, he's shooting 34% from deep, 50% from the field, and 72.9 from the free throw line. He's averaging 27 minutes a game and 12.8 points with 7.9 boards.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That would be fun if they can keep Big Z here and bring them here. I mean,
heck, did you see the stat line Malik Thomas had the other day with Overtime Elite?
Yeah,
33 points, dude. Shooting 62% from three.
Yeah, he just he kind of like threw it up and it just went in. That's basically what happened all night long. So we're getting a shooter, dude.
Exactly. And pairing, Malik Thomas, Darius Acuff, who's, could be another similar to what we saw with Boogie Flan, and a Carter back, a Billy back. I mean, those guys are going to have to get paid. You get a Big Z back. You have a great foundation for a team. You go out in transfer portal, grab a couple guys, some depth pieces. You're looking at a squad next year.
Yeah. And here's the thing about Big Z too. I know I said that it's going to be hard to keep him if he keeps playing this kid, but Big Z, I mean, the dude loves Coach Cal.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't know if you guys have watched the Vice series.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really good. But in the first episode, he was like, as soon as I found out he was leaving, I knew I was leaving with him. Like wherever he went, that's where he was going. And that's what happened. I mean, like a week after or 2 weeks after Cal, it was official, Cal was here. Boom, he's already coming to Arkansas. So he loves Cal and he appreciates what he's done for him. So I would not be surprised, even if he is in a prime spot to be drafted this year, if he doesn't come back just to play another year with Cal.
Right, exactly. And why not tell your brother, be like, hey, this guy's a great coach. He did all this for me. Come play and we'll play together. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing I love seeing about Cal, and that documentary showing he really has a great relationship and cares about these players, especially like a guy because he fought for him to get him eligible. Like he battled with NCAA and whoever to get him eligible, and finally did last year. And it makes sense that Z has all that love for Coach Cal, and especially was like, oh, it was simple. He said it, like you said in that documentary, he said, Coach Cal is going to Arkansas. He said, me too. So, yeah. Love to see that. Transplant Texan says, really looking forward to Malik, not just his play, but he talks to his teammate, builds them up, etc. He also has some that fiery competitive edge with some trash talking too. Yeah. There's some videos out there. Really fun to see that too.
Yeah, he don't just talk to his teammates. He talks to his opponents too. And I mean, the thing is, if you can walk the walk and talk the talk, there's not much you can do about it. What was his line after that game the other day? He was like, I would be worried if I was missing, but I don't miss, so I don't worry about it, or something like that. And I'm like, that's cold. He's only like 18, but that's cold. So
yeah. And that was actually a game Cal was courtside for as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 33 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 8 of 13 from the three-point line, 11 and 19 from the field, and 30 minutes of play. What a stat line. Yeah. Can we just all agree for a moment here? This kid won the Texas game, and I just love it so much. This kid just wins the Texas game. Like, I don't know if they showed that on the TV broadcast, Austin, but at the game, this kid was the star of the Jumbotron, and I leaned over to my wife and I said, you know what? This kid probably has no idea why he hates Texas, but he's being raised as a Hog fan, and just to know I hate Texas just because they're Texas. Not any specific reason other than he's a Hog fan and he hates Texas.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be completely honest, that's why I hate Texas. There's nothing about Texas that I feel like personally that I hate them. I just know I was raised to hate Texas. And that's the difference between like Texas fans and us. And I don't I think I had something else working out this summer. I never really got to it. But the reason why Texas doesn't have any like they don't really have any generational hate towards Arkansas is because they had all the other Texas teams to play in the Big 12. They had Oklahoma to play in the Big 12. They had enough rivalries. We don't have that in the SEC. We had LSU, which, let's be honest, it turned into a rivalry, but it was manufactured at the beginning. LSU didn't really care about us all that much. Thing is, we also have Missouri. That was manufactured. We say we don't care about them, but I really do because I want to kick their ass and everything because they always win.
Oh,
Um, but but it's just Texas. Texas, that was our generational hate, right? Because that's all we could. And we just carried that from, 30 years ago until today. And that's why we can beat them in 2021 in football and come out and shock, the entire country. That's why we can kick their butt in basketball and sweep them for the first time in 30 years. So I don't know. I'd love to hate Texas. And I don't know. I don't have a reason to hate Texas other than my family has brought me up to hate Texas.
exactly. And this picture that's turned into a meme that will be emblazoned forever in the minds of Arkansas fans that I love is like this is never going away.
Yeah,
Like this
that's
is
back
never
when
going
Cal
away.
was still using that quarter zip that
Exactly.
everybody
Right.
hates now.
Exactly. But like that's just never going to go away. That there's student sections that had that printed off on a big poster board at the game. But yeah, transplant Texas, hog culture. You hate the Longhorns. You don't add a howl to the hog call, please. And you don't say stars or Chiefs during the anthem. Get off my lawn to this new generation of students. I agree. That's the one thing I remember when I started at the university. I had I did some before the semesters things that started, and they properly taught you how to hog call. Now,
Yeah.
I wish people would learn this because the amount of people that, like he said, adds a howl to it. That is not the proper way to do it. And I've never understood the thing until somebody told me the Stars and Chiefs thing. It's either a Dallas Stars thing or a Kansas City Chiefs thing. This is the University of Arkansas, like transplant Texan. It makes no sense. So just stop.
Yeah.
It
So
has no home in Bud Walton. Just because you have half of your student populations from Dallas doesn't mean that this is a Dallas Stars game and you have to add Stars or Chiefs or whatever.
So story time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody who follows, Hawks Sports knows who Andrew Hutchinson is. And he tweeted out last night that someone yelled at the kids who were yelling stars during this national anthem to shut up. And he said, "I love you" to that guy. Turns out it was my old band director from high school. You remember I don't think you actually got to meet him when we went to Creekside, but the guy who
I think we might have lost Austin freezing here. So what he was referencing last night was so Andrew Hutchinson tweeted about a guy that was talking about that at the game, and trying to see if I can actually find the post, but it had to do with the the Stars and Stripes thing. But yeah, like Transplant Texan says, Austin's band teacher wasn't the hero we asked for, but he is the hero we needed. And yeah, that's a good point from Transplant Texan here. Is the Hal started at the same time as Bielema wife was throwing of the A. So, different things going on there. So Austin's internet cut out. So hopefully he'll be back soon. But yeah, I mean, a lot of new generational differences. But there we go. We got him back.
Freaking Cox Wi-Fi, man.
Got you again.
Yeah, I need to move out of Siloam so I can actually have Ozark go or something. Because this is ridiculous. I hate Cox.
Hey, I'll say I'm on the Ozarks Go train, and for the most part, it does pretty well. Here you go.
Oh, that's my dad. What's up, Dad?
But back to what your story you're saying, Andrew Hutchinson was talking about this. I was trying to find the post, but
yeah, I could probably find it. A lot of people were liking it, so. But yeah, no, it was funny because I'm just we're just going. I'm just scrolling through Facebook this morning, and I see Mr. Rutledge pop up, and I'm like, what the heck? And then so I decided to tweet at Andrew and say, hey, this is my band director. I'd like you to meet him. So still it's a cool thing. Here, I'll send you this real quick.
Yeah. And while Austin's sending it over, we'll quickly hit on it real quick. That performance by Trey Johnson, man. Like, guy shows why he's going to be a lottery pick. He scores half your points for Texas. He comes out 39 points, 14 of 28. He took 28 shots in this game. That's double the second leading shot taker in Arthur Kaluma with 14. He hit 7 from 11 from deep, 4-4 from the free throw line, has 1 rebound, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Yet was a -5 in the plus or minus for Texas.
And he was a minus. Yeah, that's
in 38 minutes of play. But he shows you why he's going to be a lottery pick. Last night, he kind of just took over the game, and that's what that's what we kind of expected, honestly.
Yeah, and the thing, he couldn't miss. Hey, he was kind of like Malik Thomas in that game. He just threw it up, and he got whatever he wanted. Yeah, here it is. So right there, the guy on the right with the white hair, that's Mr. Rutledge. So yeah, he was like Transplant Texas said, he's not the hero we asked for, but the one we needed. So pretty good stuff, funny stuff.
Yeah. Transplant Texas says Trey Johnson had a great game, but don't overlook how little his teammates were doing. He had to take over the game. Exactly. I mean, when you look at that, I mean, we finally, right near the end of the stretch there, started to finally double team the guy. And that makes sense. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what he does in the league. Transplant Texas said, shout out to Mr. Rutledge. But yeah, it's Arkansas got a big win, so now we got to finish out the season strong. Final 3 games at South Carolina, at Vanderbilt, and one final home game for the Bud versus Mississippi State. After this game, it's going to be tough with 7 players, but I'm feeling pretty good down the stretch. Like I said, and I still stick to this, is that Vandy game worries me a little bit, but other than that, I think we should be able to take care of South Carolina. Like Angel said earlier, or I'm just saying it. Don't overlook it. Don't make it a trap game. They did get that 1 win over this Texas team, which is good. But Let's go down to Columbia, take care of business, come back home, and finish out the season in Nashville and at Bud. And, hopefully we get the selection on Selection Sunday and see where we'll be sitting. It'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the season. But, I mean, as far as this team's playing and things are coming together, this team deserves to make the tournament with, what they've done and how hard they've worked to get to back to this point.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you saw this stat, but most likely by the end of the year, 15 of Arkansas's 31 teams are going to be quad one teams.
Yeah.
That's I mean, there's not a whole lot of people outside the SEC that are doing that. It's a crazy thing, and that's why they are in the position that they are. It's because they didn't lose any quad 3 or quad 4 wins or losses games. But the reason why they're not completely a shoo-in is because of those that game to OU and that loss to LSU. That was at the beginning of the SEC. And the thing is, the committee, although they really, really go on metrics like that, they understand trends. Arkansas is trending up. They're not the same team they were at the beginning of the SEC.
Exactly.
So they have if they can go 2-1, they have a very, very good shot of being solidly in the tournament without having to win any games in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. But, our buddy over at Hawgs Stats tweeted out, a few minutes ago, he said 46 Razorback men's basketball freshmen who were not post players have attempted 100-plus field goals in their freshman season. Top 3 shooting percentages of those 46. Number 1 is Sidney Moncrief, 66.5%, shooting 148 out of 224. Number 2, Billy Richmond, shooting 55.9%, 56 of 102. And then number 3, rounding out the top 3, Marvin Delp in 74-75, 50.4%. So
good stuff, man. Billy, the dude, at first I didn't know how well he was going to do this season, but he has really come on.
He's really flourished.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I'm excited about him.
We'll jump over to some baseball. We still got that going on. We kind of like transplanting text and say going into February, we were all ready to talk baseball. Most everyone had given up on this team. The turnaround in the face of injuries and adversity has been nothing short of remarkable. I agree. And we're going to talk some baseball because it is baseball season. We're going to cover this basketball team as long as they keep making a run and a push here. But, I mean, we do have baseball, and we had a nice midweek game this week where Arkansas took care of Grambling this in a midweek series where they got the run rule, and we saw things continue and they get back from Arlington. We did get an update on Gage Wood, so it could be 3 weeks he's out. He could be up to 6. Dave was talking about his shoulder injury. It is a shoulder impingement. I'm no doctor. I've never heard that term, but he said it's something just pretty much it's aggravated. He's got to let the swelling go down and start some rehab on it. And so he said no engage. He would love to be back sooner, but they're not going to push it. They're going to shut him down basically for 2 weeks at least, and they're hoping that he'll be back for the opening SEC weekend against South Carolina, or home SEC opener against South Carolina. And I agree. We just hope Gage can get back healthy. But in place of him, we got the rotation for this weekend for Arkansas against Charlotte. Gecko's your Friday night guy, of course. You've got Zach Root on Saturday, and then kind of the guy everybody expected to fill in Battle Cheese on Sunday. Going to be your Sunday guy. So that's your rotation for this weekend. Love what Transplant Texas said here. Aloy Brothers, aloha. Yeah, these guys have been insane. I mean, if you look at their stats alone, and we'll dive into season, but you look at this game, Arkansas wins 14-3 in 7 innings to move to 7-1 on the season. And you have both Aloy brothers starting in this one as well. And Man, Cahillo, Baby Aloy, 4 for 4 in this game with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs, and he also hits a huge home run. And man, he just continues to surprise. And a quick update from transplantation. Fun fact: shoulder impingement is shoulder pain caused by connective tissue or tendon rubbing on the shoulder blade. There we go. That's what a shoulder impingement is. There we go.
Maybe I had some of that, man. I thought it was just me getting old. You know, once you hit 30, it's kind of like your whole body just starts to creak when you wake up. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. I got something right there behind the shoulder that hurts all the time. So,
hey, maybe you can go get diagnosed with a shoulder impingement.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah,
I mean, no.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So we're talking about Aloys. Vihiba, he 1 for 4. He got outshone by his brother this time. But here's the thing, that's going to happen, and I feel like there's probably a little bit of a competition between the two because before this game they were both at the top, hitting 417. They had almost the exact same stat line. It was crazy. But
it was the exact same. They were hitting 417. Each had 7 RBIs and each had 3 home runs.
Yeah, the only difference was a little, like OBP in the slugging percentage. Yeah. But I was being super technical, but still, RBIs, hits, or not hits, but batting average, all of it the same. And to have them and then Iredale right there, it's just they have some really, really good people who can hit for power and then just hit for average, right? They had, how many? I swore they had more than 2 doubles. I don't know. I didn't get to watch the game, but I got to listen to it a little bit. And I swore I heard more than 2 doubles, but they got 2 doubles. And then it only says 2 home runs. They had 3 home runs, didn't they? I don't know. Maybe stat broadcast is not on one for baseball right now, but still, the guys from the Pacific side of the world are doing awesome. Iredale 1 for 1, Cahillo 4 for 4, and then Aloy coming in the rear, 1 for 4. So, and then you also had Pepe, who hasn't done very good this year. Went 2 for 3, got 4 RBIs. Let's see. Yeah, they did what they needed to do against Grambling. Grambling's not a good team by any stretch of the imagination. Thing is, though, Grambling
you can't overlook though.
Yeah, right. And as Texas A&M, who got beat by Texas State, right? I don't know if you saw that either. So last week we had that pitcher from Georgia acting a fool on the mound. Well, there was this kid from Texas State
took it to a whole new level.
Yeah, and I'm like, he was on something. He had to be on something. Like, I guarantee you, Texas State got hit with some randoms the next day because that dude was. I don't know what he was on,
but himself.
He was, and he was throwing strikes too. You can't.
He was backing it up, but man,
yeah. And they won. Yeah. They beat Texas A&M, the #1 team in the country. So,
and that's 2 quick losses there. After losing to Cal Poly as well.
Yeah. So these midweek games you can't overlook them, especially like Grambling. They averaged before this game they were averaging
won their conference last year.
They did. I didn't think they did because they're not. They don't have a very good record. I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot of research on them before. I couldn't watch this game anyway, so I let my staff do it. But they still score like 9.5 runs a game, or they have in the first couple weekends. So they're a team that can hit the ball. We just have a very good pitching staff. That's what it is. So they did exactly what they needed to do. They came out. got some batting practice. And how about Thomas coming out, hitting a bomb, and then also going 2 for 3? Like everyone, top to bottom of the order, but they're just hitting.
No kid. Yeah, I mean, that was the big complaint going into out of Arlington. These guys aren't hitting the ball. Well, they're starting to pick it up. We said give it some time. It was 2 weeks into the season. These guys are going to get more comfortable as we go, and it helps to have a little bit better weather too. When you're trying to hit the ball and pitch in 20, 30-degree weather like it was opening weekend in Bomb, nobody's going to have the success. But fun fact for you: what would you guess after that game against Grambling? What would you think Cahillo's batting average is? If you had to guess.
I think I see it, but it's over 500.
Yes, he is hitting 563. I mean, yes, that's limited bats, and he's not going to continue that the entire season. It'll probably dip a little bit. But he is 9 of 16 with 7 runs, 3 doubles, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs knocked in. Yeah. Transplant Texan says, with Gage Wood out, does that mean Bottle Cheese, a.k.a. Butter Cheese, will take his place? Yes, they announced the starting rotation for this weekend. Bottle Cheese is getting that Sunday spot until Gage Wood returns, and then we'll see what happens. But Hobbs joining us from the chat, even though he's not able to be on the show. Hope you get to feeling better, buddy. But how about Thomas to help for hitting homers? Huge for the bottom line. That is. I mean, those guys put bombs up in that midweek game. I can't wait to see what they do this weekend. But, yeah, the one guy I want to see going that, it's tough to watch him right now, Nolan Souza. He is a guy that had a lot of hype going into the season, was supposed to make a huge stride, and he's just not seeing pitches right now. He's not seeing them well, and he's struggling. In this game, he went 0 of 3, with a walk. So, and that walk did get him an RBI because he walked with bases loaded. So, I want to see him do better, but it's one of those things where it's a fun balance that Dave Van Horn's got to work. Where do you keep giving him at bats, or do you play guys that are, doing well? It's like right now, how do you even take Cahillo out of the lineup at DH?
I don't.
The answer is you can't until he cools off.
And here's the thing: it worked with Brazil, so I'm going to try it here. They just need to take him out of the lineup and see what the other guys can do. He's not doing anything but hurting the team. Yada yada yada. Crossing the fingers. Yeah, I know, of course not. But let's again, patience. Batting is like Haas will probably correct me, but I feel like it's mostly mental. Right, it's a mental game between the pitcher and the batter, and if you're not up there with confidence, you're not going to hit well. I mean, like look at Vahiva Aloy last year. He started off really, really bad, and it took him a long time to start getting
last
up.
Year, this same time coming out of Arlington, he was 0 of 13.
Yeah, he was not good, and now he's over here. I mean. Now he's hitting under 400, but he was hitting 417 before this game.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, give him time. I'll be interested to see. Hobbs does agree with you. He says definitely mental. It's going all the way back to last year because he started out hot last year and towards the middle of the season and kind of really dropped off. But
it's kind of like a three-point shooter. Sometimes all they need to do is see the ball go across, over the fence. All the shooter needs to do is see it go into the basket.
Yeah. So he just needs to see those balls get in play and have some success. But I'm interested to see how we do this lineup this weekend because it's like I said, you can't take Cahillo out, and you got him DHing. Normally Diggs or Maxwell DHs. Dave's wanting to get Maxwell more playing time, and he played in right in the midweek game. Which is normally where Diggs has played a lot of the time. Pepe's played some right along with first base, but you saw Cam Colesville play some first base. down in Arlington, where he had some really good at bats. I mean, if you want Cam Kozel in your lineup, then maybe you move him to second, and then, I don't know what Dave's going to do, but he's also a man that is going to give guys plenty of opportunities as well. So we'll see what this lineup and rotation looks like this weekend. We know the pitchers. Let's see what this batting order looks like this weekend. I'm sure we've got Cahillo will be in at least 2 of the 3 starting lineups, at least, if not all 3. And
here's the cool thing is that the pitching staff, I mean, I have a good amount of confidence in them. So I imagine that Dave Van Horn has just as much, if not more, probably a lot more of the confidence than I do. And that allows you to play with the lineup a little bit, So especially going against Charlotte, they're not, an SEC team or anything like that. So you can go in there and you can change it up game to game and see what, experiment a little bit. And that's kind of what they'll probably do that until SEC's play starts.
Yeah, because you want to find the guys and get in a groove and, as he tweaks this order, especially where guys are hitting as well. But I'm excited to get, it should be nice weather at Baum this weekend in the ballpark. Get out there and watch some Razorback baseball, see what Dave Van Horn does. I'm excited to see this pitching staff again. I'm sure Gabe Geckel's going to have a bounce back game because he was not happy with his performance in Arlington, compared to what he did in the first game of the season. Bottle Cheese gets his first starting opportunity. We saw him coming out of bullpen in Arlington after starting that opening 4-game series opening weekend. So, Transplant Texan said, where do we watch the games this weekend?
SEC Plus.
Exactly. That's what I was going to see. Yep. I was about to say, we have a handful of games that are going to be on national television, but this is not one of them. Those games are going to be, as I look down through here, one of the Missouri games, the Friday Missouri game, will be on SEC Network, the actual network. Ironically, the home midweek versus Arkansas State will be on SEC Network. Yeah, I don't know either.
What is it actually in Fayetteville? Is not in Little Rock?
Yes, it's in Fayetteville. We will play them in football in Little Rock. The Little Rock game, we are playing Grambling again at Dickey Stevens.
We're playing Grambling again?
Yeah,
bro, I haven't dug deep into this.
And then
into the non-conference schedule anyway.
And then in the middle of conference play, we'll play Little Rock on a Wednesday, and that'll be on SEC Network. We have one of the games against Florida. The Saturday game will be on SEC Network. The opening game of the weekend series against Texas will be on ESPN2. The Friday game, or the Thursday game, that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. The Friday game will be on SEC Network. LSU on SEC Network on the Saturday and Sunday games again. And then that's the last one. Hobbs said we've won 15 straight non-conference games at home. Transplant Texan says, why play Grambling again? Honestly, they were probably just trying to find an opponent to play them in Little Rock, which is, minor league park, similar to what we have the Naturals up here. But, yeah, why they play them again in 2 separate occasions instead of just like a 2-game midweek? Don't know. But we'll see. So it should be a fun weekend. We know this is starting pitching rotation. It'll be fun to see what the batting order is going to look like. But as you look at the schedule, so first pitch on Friday will be at 3:00, then 2:00 on Saturday, and noon on Sunday. So you can get all your sports in because basketball on Saturday will be, tip off for that game is going to be at noon. So watch the basketball game, then go to some baseball. Potentially just watch the basketball game while you're in line for baseball. for some people, it's going to be a big weekend of sports. And then we'll dive into some Arkansas softball. You know, we talked about how they opened the season with a best in starting program history. First weekend, you know, they are coming into this game with one loss, and this is the first weekend that they're actually playing at home.
Yeah.
They played the entire first part of the season, you know, away. They played in San Marcos, Texas in the Texas State tournament. Then they went down to Ruston, Louisiana to play in the LA Tech tournament. Then went to California to play in the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. Now finally back home where they have the Woo Pig Classic, where we're going to have Iowa and Illinois. We play each of those twice, and then we'll play Missouri State once on Sunday. So finally getting to see the Bogle Bombers here. See you next time, Transplant Texan. Appreciate you jumping in here as always. But so you got that going on this weekend. And then Friday night, get out there, and we've talked about it so much. Get out this gymnastics meet, 6:45 on tomorrow night, or 6:15, excuse me, tomorrow night against Alabama. It is Compete for a Cause / alumni night. Get out there and see Hype Man Corey that joined the show. You know, fun talking with him. So get to see him for the first time since we talked to him back here in Arkansas for this home meet, as this is one of the final two we have left. We got Missouri Friday, March 14th at 6:45. A lot going on in Razorback Nation this weekend: basketball, baseball, softball, gymnastics. Women's basketball is playing as well. So, or actually, yeah, they will be playing on Sunday against Texas A&M to finish up their season. But I mean, not a lot to speak about there, as you know, we've talked about how that's been. But man, yeah, it's a jam-packed weekend again. Our Razor recap on Sunday will be chock full of talking about baseball. More than likely, we'll be talking about the Loy brothers again. Angel says, any freshman pitching this weekend? We'll probably see plenty of these guys. I'm sure you'll see some Carson Wiggins. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Cole Gibbler. Some of those more notable freshmen, if you will. Feel free to chime in there and let us know which freshman you think we will see, Hobbs. But you know, you're probably going to see some. You'll probably see some more Aiden Jimenez, a guy that transferred in. As far as freshmen, you know, other than, you know, the big two of Carson Wiggins and Cole Gibbler, you probably are not going to see a ton. You might. It honestly probably just depends on how the game's going and how Dave's feeling. If, you know, it's similar to this midweek game that we had where you're up, you know, 8-9 runs, you're probably going to see a lot of these younger pitchers. Like you saw, Razorback Hobbs said you'll see both of them in this game, the midweek game we were talking about. You saw Still Eves come in for an inning. But Ben Bybee got the start in this one. He started midweek game, went 3 innings, allowed a hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts on 47 pitches. You had Colin Fisher come in for an inning, come in and get 1 strikeout on 11 pitches. Aiden Jimenez in 1 inning, allowed 2 hits, a run, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout on 23 pitches. Still Eves, 1 inning, 1 hit allowed, 1 run, 2 strikeouts for him. And then Carson Wiggins, that final inning, they're kind of getting the confidence back after that not great outing in Arlington. He came in for an inning, got 1 strikeout on 10 pitches, and kind of closed things out there for Arkansas against Grambling. So it'll be a busy weekend. Like Hobbs says, you'll see both these pitchers. You'll probably see a different combination of batting orders and guys getting pinch hits and things like that, other than your starters, who will probably get the starts in the games. But, you know, like we said, depending on score, if things get kind of run rule territory, you'll see some pinch hitting and some guys getting opportunities. Like in this game, you saw Reese Robnett get a opportunity to bat and play some first base. You saw Zane Becker check in for Ryder Helfrich at the catching spot. Gabe Frazier, the freshman, checking in for Souza. So you'll probably see a lot of these guys getting some run this weekend as well. Angel says good stuff. So I'm excited for it this weekend. It's gonna be jam packed, but it's gonna be fun. And anything else
that's
you got?
not. Yeah, so that's not all that's happening this weekend. I don't know if you guys know this little thing called the NFL Combine. That is also
I
happening
had
this
something
weekend.
I wanted to bring up on that. I'm glad you said something.
Yeah. So is it about Landon Jackson?
Yes, it is.
I'll let you. Are you going to bring up a video? Because I think you might. I think I know which one you're coming up with.
Yeah. So, as we all know, Landon Jackson, a fantastic Arkansas player that everybody loved. They transferred in from LSU, and well, he's been having some crazy highlights from the combine, and all I'll say is, man knows how to book it, to say the least. Let's see here. Let me get this pulled up. So
I'll go ahead and preview it, but he is making him some money right now. That is what
here
he's
we
doing.
go.
He's making him some money.
I was about to say, here we go. We'll pull this up here. This is Landon Jackson running himself a 40. That's a defensive end running a 4.6 40.
Yeah. He officially he's 6'6", 264 pounds, running a 4.68 40. You don't want to see that coming at you. Tallest guy he's the tallest edge rusher in the draft right now. He has the second longest wingspan. I'm pretty sure he had the highest vertical with 40-point-something inches. I mean, ungodly number for somebody who's already 6'6", 6'7". He's gone off. And then also he's kind of redeemed himself. I don't know if you have this one pulled up. Back whenever he was in high school, people were flaming him for going through the heavy bags. And all of a sudden, here it is. Look, this is the difference, 5 years makes. Yeah. I don't want to be one of those bags, that's for sure.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And then one of the other ones is his good long jump here, or high jump, vertical.
Yeah. I mean, he's making himself some money. If it weren't for, just that just the Senior Bowl, he'd probably be doing well still just with his performance there, but he's doing all the stuff, all the metric stuff that you need to see. Now,
exactly.
if he can nail his interviews, I would not be surprised if he goes in the first round somewhere. I'll be honest with you.
I was going to say, which if you hear him and see some of the interviews that they've had just as far as with the media, I feel like he's just going to ace these interviews with the teams. That vertical official was a 40.5-inch vert for Landon Jackson at 6'6", 270.
Yeah. So we had him, and we had him, and then Eric Gregory, also big man moving fast, 5.1540 as a guy who's 300 plus pounds. He's doing pretty well, not nearly as well as Landon, but Landon's going off. And then on Saturday, you've got the running backs and the receivers. So you'll have Jaquindon Jackson, you'll have Isaac Teslaw, and then obviously Andrew Armstrong. And hopefully, that's where I'm hoping that he really gets to shine. I mean, obviously, the numbers speak for itself from this past year, but hopefully he can go out there and put the same kind of performance that Landon Jackson is doing, and maybe get himself some money.
Exactly. It's going to be a fun weekend to watch that as well. So, tune into all things Arkansas Razorbacks this weekend, all the sports, all the NFL Combine going on with some future pro Hogs. So you got plenty of time to watch these for Joe, Hobbs, plenty of Arkansas-related content for you guys to watch as you're on the mend and recovery, getting better. Hopefully, we'll have you back with us on Sunday, Hobbs, but you just keep feeling better. Transplant Texan had some tips up here for you. He said, Hobbs, that's rough. Honey ginger tea, man. That's the remedy for the cough. So, with that, we'll kind of get wrapped up here. If you don't have anything else, Austin, make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Hit that bell. That way, when we go live. We also have Facebook page, Twitter. It's always going to be called Twitter, Instagram. Go follow us on all those. It's going to be Hogs on the Hill. Keep an eye on that. So some good stuff coming for you guys. You can find a podcast other than on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. So we thank everybody for tuning in today and enjoy the weekend of Razorback Sports. Everybody have a great Friday. And we'll be right back here on Sunday for our Razor recap and talk about everything that went on in Razorback Nation over the weekend. So until then, for Austin, myself, we're going to get out of here and we'll see you on Sunday.